I crashed my husband's funeral and stole the entire inheritance from his family, even though I'm rich. Am I the a-hole?
They say take from the dead and give to the rich.
You know, why not? So I, 34 female, got married when I was 24 to a 53-year-old man.
That is a big age difference.
I think it's not enough.
You're going to be changing his diapers.
Let's go 70.
Why not?
Let's go 100. Let's call him F. I met him when I was 20. When we began dating, we received all sorts of accusations and criticism, but we didn't care. We went on to have a happy, quiet life and 3 children. Now 8 male, 5 male, 3 female.
I guess that's fine. 2 consenting adults.
And we were hoping for baby number 4 on my request. When COVID hit, F continued as an essential worker, a doctor.
And those buco bucks, baby.
While I went home as a high-risk patient due to a long history of pulmonary issues, including a lobectomy. In October, we both tested positive for COVID. For me, it was like a regular cold. F landed in the ICU in a week. He was connected to a ventilator on October 25th, and he passed away on December 10th.
Yikes, that sucks. I feel bad about all the jokes I made before.
The news was devastating, especially having to explain to my children that their daddy will not be coming back. They all tested negative, so we sent them to my parents. After arranging a funeral delayed by sanitary protocols, max 12 people in attendance, I got a call from my husband's daughter from his first marriage. He was widowed at age 40. His children are now 41 female, 36 female, 36 male, and 41.
His children are twice the age of his wife?
Players gonna play.
Okay, all right. I'm not judging.
Let my man live. The 41-year-old was the one who called, who asked me not to attend the funeral.
I mean, she has kids with him at this point. Like, come on.
Because they didn't want to explain to their kids why grandma, me, was younger than their own parents.
I think that's a bullshit reason, though.
So I said no. I owed it to my husband, F, to be there. And she didn't even have to look at me if she didn't want to. She berated and screamed at me until I decided to hang up. Since then, I've received hateful messages and calls insulting me, calling my children bastards, and threatening to physically stop me from entering.
What the
My God. I understand why they, the daughters mostly, hold resentments towards me, and I have tolerated stoically them calling me a sleut, a gold digger, and a midlife crisis.
I understand a lot of like skepticism about this.
Yes.
Right? But after they're married and have kids, like that's just terrible.
I guess I'd be upset too if my stepmother was younger than me. And according to 36 Male, they feel that my babies replaced them. For F's sake, I have never pushed my family onto them, and only 36 Male and his husband have met my kids. I've only seen his grandkids through pictures. Another sore topic is the inheritance.
Oh, geez, she's going to get everything, isn't she?
Here, where I live, you don't get to write a will. By law, your spouse gets 50% of the assets, while the other 50% is split evenly amongst your children. Not only does she get 50% automatically, but now the old kids have to share with all of the new babies.
Holy I didn't even think about that. I see why they're pissed.
Since my kids are underage, I will guard their share, which I intend to put towards college funds and give them a good kickstart in life. But that means that I will receive 75% of the total of the inheritance. Now, I considered taking on the 25% that my kids are entitled to, and instead of taking 50%, only taking 25% for myself and the household. But since 41 and 36 Female had ganged up on me to give up my share completely, since I had plenty of money on my own, I'm tempted to keep the full 50% just to annoy them.
I mean, she got so much abuse from them, it sounds like. I wouldn't want to give it to them either.
They don't need the money any more than I do. I know that for a fact. I feel I have the right and obligation to attend my husband's funeral as a last farewell, but I don't want to antagonize them anymore. My mom says I should step back and find closure my own way to avoid bringing them more pain, which has brought a lot of doubt. My dad and my BFF say that I can't let them trample me, and I have as much a right as anyone else to be there. I have until Monday to decide. So, would I be the a-hole? Quick edit, clarification, since the wording came out wrong. He was 53 when we married, 63 when he passed away.
He's even older, damn. nothing.
What do you think? Do you think that OP is the a-hole for this decision?
OP should 100% go to the funeral. I do understand why the kids are super salty.
What about the inheritance splitting though? What do you think there?
If those are the rules, say take the 75%. The other kids don't seem like they need it. They were terrible to her. Best thing to do would be to ask yourself, like, and really sit down, like, what would your husband want in this situation?
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, you're entitled to it. So
It's technically yours, man.
technically yours. I forced my wife to go to a party and all her deepest secrets were revealed. I don't know if I can stay married to her. Me and my wife, Kara, have been married for 4 years now. I think it's Kara.
Me and my wife, Kim Jong-un.
We had an arranged marriage, but so far we have had a good marriage and a strong bond. I love her and would do anything for her in the blink of an eye. But before we got married, we decided that we will have to have our individual space and we don't have to tell each other everything unless we feel the other person should definitely know. The arrangement went well for years. I didn't have much to hide or to tell, but she did.
Here we go. The juicy deets.
When I met Kara for the first time, she was a very conservative person and a bit too devoted to religion. She told me she wasn't a good person in the past, but since then she has tried to be a good person living a moral life. She told me some details about her past and how she was a wild girl in college and had several relationships and partners. I mean, just having several relationships and partners is not that wild.
How dare you?
You dated 2 people in college. Even after we got married, she would tell me some details about her past, but I never pressed to get those details. She always refers to her college self in third person. And whenever she talks about her past, she always says that her college self is a horrible person. Since then, she has been more devoted to religion and is quite a different person from her previous self. I have seen some pictures and videos, and Kara is nothing like that person today. You know what? I think Kara sounds like fun. Kara doesn't have a lot of friends and mostly spends her time praying or with other religious stuff. I am the only person she shares her thoughts with. A few months ago, out of the blue, she got a call from her best friend from college, Renee. I saw Kara light up after talking to Renee. Kara felt so happy after reconnecting with Renee, and Ray invited her to a party at her place. Renee also called up some of their other friends from college. Kara was conflicted about going to the party, but I convinced her to go, saying the worst that could happen is that she has a boring night.
Or
If you find yourself on Reddit, that's never the worst that could have happened. Kara asked me to come along with her. Even during the drive, I was thinking about getting some embarrassing and funny stories about my wife to her friends. When we reached Renee's place, I realized why Kara was conflicted. Kara was dressed very conservatively, light makeup and very little jewelry. Her friends from college were dressed the exact opposites. They were dressed like tweens going out to a party all night.
this guy sounds like such a freaking grandpa.
The night started normally about the girls sharing funny tales, but the stories quickly became raunchy and rather horrifying. I found out Kara and Renee were the leaders of a group of mean girls. They slept around, abused alcohol and drugs on occasion, and ruined people's lives. Kara stepped away to go to the bathroom when the group turned to me and told me stories about my wife. Renee talked about Kara sleeping with most of the professors at their college. Renee purposely told me about how Kara and Renee systematically gaslit women into believing that she is a lesbian and ruined her marriage because her husband had rejected Kara's advances. And all the girls found this incident to be funny.
A little much.
Kara isn't as cool as I thought. I wanted to leave, but I couldn't find Kara. I went to the bathroom to look for her and found her curled up in a corner crying. I picked her up and left immediately. The entire drive back, Kara was sobbing and kept repeating, "I am so sorry." She was inconsolable for days and she threw herself into religion hard. She started praying for 6 to 8 hours every day. Her daily prayers and rituals usually took 2 hours. That lady's dedicated.
That is wild.
I thought that giving her space would help her heal, and she would talk to me whenever she is ready. We haven't talked much since then. She still cuddles up in bed, but doesn't say anything. Last week, she told me she has decided to be celibate for the rest of her life to repent for her former sins. OP, I see why you're coming to Reddit for this problem solved. I have tried talking to her about therapy, but she is adamant on her plan. I ruined my near perfect life by forcing her to go to that party. There is a big update. It's juicy.
Woo!
All right, for all our sexually active people.
Hot poppies and mommies.
If your partner said, yo, I want to be celibate for the rest of my life, what you doing? That's a tough pill to swallow.
I'm making a total guess here, but OP seems the like wait till marriage vibe, or at least like the, you know, more celibate vibes. If you think they should boink, put boink in the comments.
Yeah. I'm pro boink, but I also think like she just went through something traumatic. You got to respect what she says, of course.
But I'm curious about this juicy update.
Last night when we got into bed, I told her, I love you and I will wait for you to be ready for me. At the time, I wasn't sure what I meant. I just had to talk to her. Her eyes swelled up with tears. I can tell she wanted to wail and scream, but was holding back. She grabbed me and didn't want to let go. She whispered, I love you, and we held each other for the rest of the nights. In the morning, I asked if we should talk to a therapist. I assured her I would try to support her decisions either way. She agreed and kissed me. We hadn't kissed in almost 2 months. I thought I had my wife back, but a few minutes later, she texted me from the kitchen. My celibacy doesn't have to mean yours. You are free to leave me. If you want to stay, I will not interfere with your physical needs. It killed me reading that text. We haven't said a word to each other since then. Okay, another update.
Oh my goodness.
Kara started therapy thanks to the efforts of some members of her religious group. She will need a lot of time, and I don't know if I will ever get my wife back. Everyone keeps telling me that she will get better soon, but I am not sure if she would still be my wife when she does. Even if she does come back, I have heard things about her past that make it very hard for us to continue the relationship. Some details make me feel that Kara doesn't deserve happiness. I don't know about that. For now, I will support her to help her with the recovery, but I'm not sure what happens after. Again, I want to bring the question to you guys, like, what would you do if your wife or your significant other, your husband, whatever, said, I need to be celibate? Let us know in the comments. John, what do you think about OP? Like, do you think he's the a-hole?
You know, if you put a gun to my head and made me decide, I would say leaning on the a-hole in the a-hole spectrum, because I feel like by my like inference of how he like shares his thoughts here, seems like he's casting a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
It's kind of also, it just gives me whiplash that she's like, hey, I am like gonna pray like 8 hours a day and never have sex again, but if you want to go buck wild, like just go for it. The big question is, what do you all think? My engagement ring is my fiance's family's prized family heirloom, and now they're trying to steal it back, but I have a plan. So I, 31 female, recently lost my fiance, 37 male, Jake. We had been together for 6 years, and his death was unexpected, and I'm still in mourning. At the funeral, which I arranged and paid for, his brother, 32 male, Jim, asked me when I'm going to return the engagement ring to the family.
Not the time,
Jim.
Bro. At least don't do it at the fucking funeral.
Now, for context, the engagement ring which Jake proposed is an ancient family heirloom. It's a gorgeous ring, but what makes it priceless is the story behind it. Jake got the ring from his grandma a month after we started dating. He claimed he knew back then that he would marry me someday and wanted to get his grandma's blessing on the ring. When he proposed, his grandma had already passed away, so having the blessings put on the ring made it extra special for the both of us. I asked Jim if he's serious, to which he said, yes.
Jim is a dick.
Apparently, his longtime girlfriend, Stacy, saw the ring a while ago and fell in love with it. She kept nagging him to get something similar, which he couldn't.
Because Jim Bob is freaking broke.
He figured since I can no longer marry Jake, he can propose to Stacy with it. I told him that he is rude and that the ring was blessed especially for Jake and I in mind. And even if that wasn't the case, bringing it up during Jake's funeral is incredibly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Come on.
Oh, after the funeral, I got a message from Stacy saying it would mean the world for her to be the new owner of the ring.
It's my precious.
Give me the ancient family heirloom. The powers it possesses of being a big fat diamond on my ring. And I could always think of her and Jim's wedding as the bittersweet ending to my relationship.
Why would you want to do that? How are people out of touch?
She said the ring was blessed, so one of the grandsons can marry the love of his life. And since Jim is the only living grandson left, he has to claim it.
I don't think so.
You know what IP did?
What?
I blocked her. Boop.
Bam.
So, my ex-mother-in-law also reached out to me and said that although she understands my pain, I can't keep the ring since it's a family heirloom. So I should suck it up and give it to Jim. I snapped and told her, no, the ring is staying with me and following
me.
and it's following me to the grave if need be. It's a beautiful symbol of Jake's love, and I won't let Jim and Stacy sully the memory of him. Good for you, girl.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
The ring is legally mine.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. So all they can do is cry about it and be bitter. They keep harassing me on social media saying I'm a bad person and that I stole the family heirloom to spite Jim and Stacy out of jealousy. Jealousy of what? Being poor? But I ignore them. Today, I met up with my brother, and he said that although Jim's approach was highly inappropriate, I'm being selfish for keeping the ring as a keepsake. I could always wear different jewelry that Jake bought me in his memory, but they could never replace an heirloom that's been in the family for generations. I'm now back home, and I can't stop thinking about it. Up until this point, I was sure I did everything right, but maybe I'm being blinded by my grief. A friend suggested I ask for an objective opinion and recommended this place. So, am I the a-hole?
Oh,
That's the question. Would you give back your dead spouse's family heirloom ring?
I think it depends on the stipulations on what was the expectation when she was given the ring.
I will say I do see that the fact that it is a family heirloom and maybe it has like ancient history,
Historical
beyond
significance.
That, I do see where it's like, dang, that does like kind of suck that it's not in the like family line anymore. I kind of get that, you know.
I wonder if the dead fiance would want her to still have it.
I kind of feel like it because if he got it the first month they started dating, asked for the grandma's blessing, I don't know.
But I want to know what all y'all think. What would you do in this situation? Would you keep the heirloom? Would you give it back? Would you be mad if you gave someone your heirloom and then when you died from beyond the grave, would you be mad from beyond the grave? If you were the dead fiance's position.
My neighbor is suing me for $235,000 for not walking my kids home from the bus stop.
You're a terrible parent, OP.
So I just got civil court papers and I am freaking out.
As you should be. Have you ever gotten sued?
Technically once. It was kind of my family.
Your family sued you?
No, not my family. Someone sued me and my family, low-key.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, we can break that down. Let's
We'll save it for the end.
Yeah, I want to hear that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm very interested.
So the bus drops off the neighborhood kids at the bus stop across the street from my house. Our house is located at a dead end, and there is a T intersection, and the bus does a 3-point turn.
Okay. Thanks for the bus logistics.
Yeah. So the furthest that the bus backs up to is 40 feet from my driveway. Now, the dead end is where my son crosses. It's about 125 feet to the bus.
That's so dangerous.
Oh,
Dead
125
end?
feet?
That's where people die.
All of this is on camera. And after analyzing my footage, my son doesn't even reach the road until the bus is gone. It takes my son longer just to walk through our neighbor's yard than it does for the bus to back up to our driveway. I couldn't find one instance of them being at the road and in danger at the same time. But now the neighbor is claiming a grand whopping total of $159,925 for 5 years of lost wages.
For what?
Her affidavit states that she can't get a job because then there would be no one to protect my son from the bus. It states that someone really needs to protect him from the bus potentially running him over until he is 13 years old. And this is around $20,000 a year.
I want to see what her hourly wage is based on this.
Yeah.
Let's do some quick math.
How long does it take you to walk across the driveway?
Woman is asking for $232 an hour for watching a kid.
So she is claiming another $75,000 for emotional distress to her and her children. She said that this charge was for the emotional trauma being inflicted every day of my son almost getting run over by the bus. The school has never called about it. The bus driver has never said anything to my son or myself. I have waited for my son at the bus stop before, and she didn't say anything to me. Around 8 kids are getting dropped off at that stop, and there's no parents waiting beside the bus.
She sued all of them too.
Yeah. They're all catching cases left and right.
Yeah, really. She's going to be rich.
I doubt this is relevant to the case, but this neighbor does have some mental issues with her.
That seems very relevant to the case.
Her kids are not allowed to walk on grass because it might... Wait. Her kids are not allowed to walk on grass because it might be sprayed with chemicals.
Bro, her kids can't even touch grass.
She yelled over the fence last year when we were having a fire in our yard saying, "The ground is dry. You'll burn the whole neighborhood down. Put it out."
That is literally how I imagine her sounding. Like you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Definitely paints the picture, right?
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
We also have a trampoline, and she came to our door to tell us how dangerous it was, and it was just a matter of time before somebody gets hurt. And this lady shovels her whole ass driveway every winter for hours because snowblowers are too dangerous.
I can't relate. I'm from California. I have no idea.
Don't know about that, but yeah. I offered to plow her driveway once.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah. And she told me, "Get that machine away from me. What are you trying to kill me?"
She seems totally sane.
Totally. I don't know what to do. Should I get a lawyer, talk to her, sit at the bus stops for my son? Ladies and gentlemen, we have an OP here who needs our help. So please tell us.
Yeah, what should she do?
What should OP do? Sam.
I guess like I've had people threaten to sue me before, and so I just ignore it, and it went away.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, can OP just ignore this?
This one, 1,000%.
I think just ignore it.
I think that's
right?
great advice.
Yeah. The law sucks. In conclusion, I fired my babysitter for getting drunk on the job. I protected my children, but now my husband is furious with me. My 37 female babysitter, 16 female, has been babysitting me for about 2 months. Pretty old to be babysat at 37.
On. Yeah, grow up.
Sorry, has been babysitting for me. She's a very sweet and quiet girl and is good with the kids, 4 female and 8 male. We've only had small problems here and there, but nothing major at all. When she first started babysitting for me, I had asked her if there was any drinks or snacks that she'd like me to keep at the house, as she's there from 9 to 7 every day, Monday through Saturday. And she said, "Hand me the tequila, baby."
Captain Morgan.
She mentioned that she really likes seltzer, hard seltzer water, and I had bought them for her the first month. But honestly, I forgot after a while and never kept any in the fridge. A few days ago, I bought hard seltzers for me and my husband and didn't think anything of it.
Oh, no.
OP. A little bit after 2 p.m., she messaged me that she wasn't feeling well and thought she may have to go home and asked if it was possible I could get off from work earlier. I asked her to try and hold out until the end of the day. Not too long after, she called me crying, saying something was wrong and she had to go home. She was drunk.
Oh, this poor babysitter.
Clearly, she drank the hard seltzers. I told her to leave and she walked home. She messaged me the next day and said that she now knew that hard seltzers were alcohol and she hadn't known. She never drank before as both of her parents were alcoholics. Oh no.
God.
Yo. And she has diagnosed PTSD regarding alcohol. She never planned on drinking in general. I told her not to come back as she put my children in danger. She called me crying and saying that she didn't know and that she cared deeply about my children and would never ever drink with them or at all, and that she needs the money to pay for her driver's permit. She comes from a not well-off family. I told her to find a real job and that it wasn't my fault she got drunk. My husband says I'm being very rude and that she did try to reach out when she wasn't feeling well. My kids are upset to see her go. So Reddit, am I the a-hole?
Oh my God.
Okay, put your answers in the comments right freaking now. I think it needs to be teared right now, honestly.
Man. Yeah.
But John, what do you think?
This is one of the clearest cut cases of OP being the a-hole that we've ever seen. You got hard seltzer and seltzers.
After she specifically asked for seltzers in the fridge.
She had no idea. She literally said that she had PTSD. She has trauma from her parents' alcoholism and she didn't want to drink. And then you blame her.
Low key, if anything, you might be liable for some kind of lawsuit for like child endangerment of her. And she tried to do everything responsible. She's like, hey, I'm not feeling too well. And like, she had no idea what was happening.
Totally. And was probably like, I feel like I would be freaking out if I had never been drunk before and I accidentally got drunk and didn't know what was happening.
Tell us what you think if OP's the a-hole or not, but I also want to hear your first drinking story. What was your first experience getting drunk or drinking?